Hello, welcome to another awesome tutorial. It's been like 14 years since the last one, so wanted to do I guess a new tutorial on map objects using like the tools and whatever we have available today. So first thing you'll notice is different. We're in Blender, no more 3ds Max, and we're going to be using a pretty new tool called DragonFF for our GTA IO, and we're going to make a map object. So maybe let me pause for a sec and show you what we're going to be making today. All right, this is what we're making. You can see it ended up being a big humongous, and no textures. Just wanted to keep it simple. No pre-baked lighting. Yeah, basically as simple as you can get, but I think that's maybe like best that we cover like the simplest case, and then we'll hopefully make it a little cooler in follow-up tutorials. But yeah, here it is, a big mung in Grove Street. Hope you enjoy making it. Welcome back. So the first thing we're gonna have to do is just get rid of everything from the scene. So you can hit A on the keyboard and then just delete. I guess before that, technically you need to have DragonFF installed, so that's the import export scripts. So that's yeah, maybe I'll do that in another tutorial, but it's pretty straightforward. Just go to the GitHub. I'll put a link in the description maybe. So the next thing I think is handy to do is import the part of the map that you want to start like adding stuff to. So we can do that in the scene tab, and then go down to the DragonFF map importer. At the time of making this video, the map importer is kind of like, well, it's in like alpha state, I guess, but it is being actively contributed to, including myself. So hopefully it's going to get better, but you know, it does what it needs to do for now. So select the game and select the part of the map that you want to import. For me, I'm going to use LAE2, which is where Grove Street's at. And also, if you have any custom map, like if you have any custom IDEs or IPLs, they won't show up here because this currently just pulls like a hard-coded list, which is hopefully going to be fixed. Don't check the skip lot objects option, because that will skip pretty much everything, because it also doesn't use the binary IPLs. It uses like the plain text ones, which only has LODs in them. Anyway, that means low quality models. Also select your game folder. Yeah, anyway, that's this folder. So that's the one with your GTA SA exe in it. And then select, it's asking for a DFF folder. So to do that, you need to extract all the DFFs from your GTA 3.img. So where am I at here? So to do that, you can use Alky's img editor, and that's this thingy. We want to open your GTA 3.img, which is in like your GTA folder, then models, GTA 3.img, and then you can select everything, and then hit this export button, and it'll then you select the folder where you want to export to, and it'll export all the DFFs and whatever. DFF is like a model, and it'll also export the textures and TXT files. So once you've done that, so for instance, I've put mine into where am I at here? Sorry, I put mine into GTA3.img, so I just have everything just dumped out here into this folder. And yeah, so then in my case, I'm going to select that folder. So GTA3.img, wherever the hell that was, I get here. Okay, and now we can hit import map section. So this will take a little while, but not too bad, because it's only importing like LOD models. You can see it all being popular. Actually, you can probably zoom. I'm not even sure. Yeah, it's too slow. Let's wait for it to finish. Okay, and now we can just select one of the models and hit the period key on the number pad, and that will move the camera to it, to whatever you selected. So you can see we've imported the like that part of the map without, it doesn't have any textures loaded, but you get the general idea, and it's all like LOD models, so it's kind of hard, a little bit hard to make out. But this is Grove Street, so we can click that and then press period again on the keyboard. So I think what we want to do, let's add like let's add something into the middle of Grove Street. So so that I don't like mess anything up with the reference that we've just imported, let's select something in this, in the, what do you call this, the scene view, I forget what you call this thing, the right hand side, and then let's deselect everything but the reference that we imported, and we'll drag it into this collection, and then we'll call the collection something like reference. And from there we can go to the, where is it? Yeah, sorry, click on collection, and then you can deselect selectable. So what that means is that we won't accidentally like click stuff in the reference. It's just sort of here for, you know, so for reference. So anyways, now we want to make a new collection for the stuff that we're actually going to add to the map. What are we going to add? Let's make a huge mung. So let's do that. We'll call it mung. So to add something to the, so to specify where we want to place something, you can put the 3D cursor here by holding shift and then right click. So the 3D cursor is this, let's watch your thingamabob thing that just plops itself on the geometry there. And then to add, I'm going to add meta ball. So let's go meta ball, and S to scale it, G to grab, shift Z to stop it from moving in the Z axis. So I'm thinking this is going to be like the mung's like foot or something. So I'm just scaling this. S, yeah, something like that. G, Z. Then let's duplicate this, Shift D. Yeah, maybe something like this. And then Shift D again. And then S, G. Does that look sort of like a mung? Yeah, maybe. S, Y, G. Just sort of moving stuff around. That's a pretty fat fat mung. S, Z, Y. Yeah, something like that. And then of course we need the goggles, right? I think everything needs to move up actually. Yeah. And then the big goggle things. Let's add a capsule. G. That looks kind of right. S. All right, that'll do. That's probably good enough. So one thing we may want to do is up the resolution a little bit. I mean, it is GTA San Andreas, so maybe we won't go too crazy. So go to the data section, and then you can change the resolution here by sliding it around. I think that looks okay. Next thing to do is to combine all of these metaballs into a mesh. So of course, whatever we export has to actually be a real mesh. It can't be just like a Blender construct. So to do that, like this is not going to work all the time, but in this case we can just select them all and then right click and then convert to, and then mesh. And you can see it automatically just squashed everything down into one mesh, which is what we need for exporting to DFF or exporting to a map object. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that you had like another mesh that you wanted to merge in. So I'll just put like a backpack on him or something. So let's put the 3D cursor here, and then add like an actual mesh. Like let's say what would be good? Maybe like, I don't know, maybe just a cube, and then scale that up. SY to squish it. G. Just sort of that idea, right? Like just something on the back. Yeah, so like this is a separate map object, right? So, or not map, it's like a separate mesh. So we need a way to merge these two meshes into one mesh. So to do that, we can select the first object and then hold shift and then select the second object. And the second object needs to be like the one that you want to merge into. And then you can press Control J on the keyboard and that joins the two meshes together. So now you can see on the right hand side in the outline or whatever it's called, it shows just one mesh. And if we went into like edit mode, you can see that, well, it's a bit, yeah, you get the idea. It's like all one thing. So, yeah, now we're pretty much good to go to start exporting. So, first thing you can do is come down to what section is this called? Object section. And you'll find the DragonFF export object panel, I guess. So I'll just walk through what each of these does. So the pipeline setting, actually I'll skip that one. The export normals option we're going to leave on. This is actually not typical for a map object. Map objects normally don't have normals, and so normals are like a vector on each vertex that points in the direction that the face is facing. But anyways, because the lighting is for map objects is usually baked into the objects, the game doesn't need to know about the normals because it doesn't calculate lighting by itself. So we calculate it ahead of time. But in this case, and in a future tutorial, we'll do the baked lighting. But for now, we'll just export for normals so the game can figure out the lighting itself. Export custom split normals will enable that. What that means is that so the normals aren't going to be shared among the vertices. We're going to have like separate normals per face. So what that'll allow us to do is have sharp edges on this box, because otherwise each edge, I guess, or whatever, each edge will share this vertex's normal, which means that it'll all be like a smooth appearance. Enable lighting will enable because we want the game to figure out the lighting until we do baked lighting a bit later on. This like bin mesh PLG thing, this is just like an optimized version of the model that's only used by other tools. It's not actually relevant to the game. It just makes the file a bit bigger, but makes it easier to work with other tools. What else is important? We're going to turn off day and night vertex colors because we haven't baked any vertex colors in. And we don't actually have any textures applied. But yeah, we can leave these checked anyway. So the UV maps are like the texture coordinates. Next, we need to go to material. Now, the game's going to crash if we don't have a material on here. So we just add any material, like a principal BSDF. And we don't actually have to have a texture on here. The important part is that we have the DragonFF export material here. We'll leave it all default. One thing you can play with though is the color, and you can play with the ambient shading. So ambient shading is how much of the like world lighting contributes to the color of the mesh. So like if it's nighttime, the object might appear like a little bit blue. And color, of course, is the color. In order to let the color thing work, though, you have to have enable modulate material color on. All right, the next thing we need to do is prepare our lovely model for export. So the first thing we need to do is set the origin to the center of the geometry. That's just a requirement of map objects in GTA. So the origin is this little orange dot that you see on his foot, because that's where we made that first meta ball. So to move that, we go to Object and then set Origin and then Origin to Geometry. And that just puts it in the middle there. The next thing we need to do is apply any rotations and scales that we've made to the object. So we don't actually have any, but just in case you do, you can go Control A and then apply rotation and scale, but not translation because that will mess up the position of it. So the next thing we need to do is actually put this object into the center of the world. As far as I'm aware, there's no feature of DragonFF that can automatically reset the translation for us. I think there really should be, so maybe someone can do that, but For now, I think we just have to do this manually. So I usually just duplicate the collection, and then we can move the duplicated one to 0, 0, 0. So hold your mouse down on XYZ for the location, and just press 0. Now we can press dot on the numpad, and it shows up the duplicated mesh, of course. Now we need to rename the collection that we copied to be the exact name that we're exporting, and just verify that your rotation, scale, and location are all identity, and we should be good to go to export now. So this is a good time to mention that I prepared, well, for one thing, we'll use a mod loader by someone, forget his name, but yeah, really cool modder. Made mod loader, allows you to load in mods like while the game is even open. It's really incredible. It makes debugging so good. But I just made a new folder here called Mung, and I've put some stuff in here already. But so the idea with mod loader is that you don't have to go into the data folder and then like edit gta.dat and then go into maps and then like add stuff to like IDEs and IPLs here. You can just basically copy the folder structure that's here and just make up your own like mini folder structure inside your own folder. And also you can just chuck DFFs and calls in here, and it puts them into GTA 3 IMG, or like not into it, but it actually like loads them in the streaming, which is yeah, really crazy. But anyway, so just for now, let's make a Mung folder inside, or like a folder inside mod loader with the mod the name that you want to use, and then we'll go file and export DragonFF DFF, and then select your folder that you made, and then we'll select only selected, and then you can deselect export collisions, export frame names, doesn't matter. I think that's only for like Dark Sonic game or whatever, that some random Sonic game. Maybe not, but anyway, I don't think it's used in GTA. Anyway, select GTA SA for the version, and then just go export. The next thing we need to export, or the game's going to crash, is a collision mesh for map objects. So I'm actually going to duplicate again, because, and I'll just hide the other one that we had there, because the collision mesh we probably want to reduce in resolution. So first thing we need to do is like select first thing we need to really do is change the collision, the name of the collection, and then in the DragonFF section, change it to the type to a collision object. Just had a brain fart. What are we doing? Oh yeah, we need to lower the resolution of this. So the way to do that is to use a modifier called, what's it called? Decimate. So add a decimate modifier, and you can just play around with this ratio until it doesn't look like that, but also is, like, it doesn't have to be amazing, but just, yeah, not too high res. And maybe we can just look at the wireframe mode to see what the topology is looking like. Yeah. Maybe that's good enough. It's obviously a trade-off, but the game actually really doesn't process high-res call models like at all, virtually. Now I need to apply this modifier, so turn it into actual vertices. So I just click this button and then go apply. Now it's actually part of the mesh. And then you can go file, export, not import, and then call, and then go to your folder of your thingy, and then only selected, and export. One way that we can verify that that export worked is have call viewer, is that what it's called? Collision file editor by Steve M, is it? Yeah, pretty old program, but anyway, really helpful. Just make sure your collision's working. One thing you'll notice though, as a bug with DragonFF, it's either the winding order of the faces or the normals are like flipped the wrong way, but it actually doesn't matter for purposes of collisions. The next part is to create just a data folder. This mimics the data folder in your GTA directory. You also want to make a copy the GTA.dat from your data folder. I'll show you what changes we made. I'll just search for, oh, not here, first search in the file. What's all this? Monk. Oh my god, why do I have Chinese keyboard on? Monk. Okay, so, yeah, so the first thing we have is add an entry for the IDE. The IDE is the item definition file thingy that well, I'll show you that in a minute. But anyway, just add an IDE among the other IDEs. And the next thing we need to add is an entry for, yeah, just like use this path as if you're putting an IDE file into your maps folder. And then likewise, you need an IPL. Just put this among the other IPLs. And then you want to create like a maps folder. And this just mimics the maps folder that you actually have in your install. And you'll have a IDE and IPL file. Those files, I'll show you now. So you just want to have like an OBJ's section. This is a section. OBJ's is obviously objects. This is the ID of your new object that you'll decide. This is the first available, I think this is the first available ID in like the base game. I'm not sure if there's a good way to determine what the next available ID is. In a vanilla game, that's it, so you can try use that. I'll try research if there's another way to find the next ID. The next one is the name of the DFF and the call file. So in our case, it's Hmong, obviously. The next one is a txd file. We didn't use a texture in our example, but you can just look in your GTA 3 IMG for like a txd file and see what, well, I mean, literally anything will work, but just pick one for now, unless you have a texture, and then put the name in there. This 299, I think, is draw distance. So that's like 200, it'll, it'll render for as long as you're like within 299 units, which is actually a really long way. And then 0 is flags, and you can do some cool things with the flags, but if you want a reference on that, you can go to GTA modding wiki. It's a all perfect reference, a great reference for that kind of thing. Next is the IPL file. This is the item placement, and it describes like where to place the IDE that we just defined. So you need an inst section. This means instance, I guess. The IDE has to match the ID that you set in the IDE file. This is the name of the model again, but I don't think it actually matters. I don't think the game actually reads that, but I always just set it to be safe. 0 is the interior number, I think, but ours is outside, so just 0 is good. Now the next 3 are, of course, the coordinates. Until there's an exporter, like a map exporter for Blender, for now you really just have to go in here and copy paste like the coordinates, as far as I know. I personally hope to like contribute to a map exporter at some point, but anyone can do it, so please, like, if you are into coding at all, give it a go. We need your help. And the next 4 are the rotation. This is given in quaternion, so you can actually probably just, I'm pretty sure you just copy these numbers, but if you really want to know, you can go to the quaternion section, quaternion mode, and copy from there. And finally, -1, I think, indicates the LOD model to use, but we aren't using LODs, so, or how many LOD models there are, but we aren't using LOD, so I think that's -1. I think that's it. I actually might have that wrong, but anyway, -1 is usually the right number. I think that's everything. I think we're ready to test. All right, I booted up GTA and I put it in, there's like also a window mode mod, which is really useful for this sort of thing, but let's just load the game and hope it doesn't crash. Cool, it didn't crash. And let's see if it even loads. All right, there it is. Ta-da! Big, beautiful Hmong in Grove Street. We can check if the collisions work okay by just like bonking into it. Bonk. Okay, looks like the shadows aren't working or aren't very good. I'm gonna say not working. Let's have a look here. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the shadows, but whatever, not working. But yeah, we got collisions. We can probably shoot it. Seems to work. Oh, yeah, there you go. Shadows are working. Maybe we do need to flip the normals of the collision, to be honest. But anyways, yeah, I'd say that's probably what's going wrong. Gotta flip the normals. Or, you know, someone can go ahead and fix DragonFF so it doesn't keep breaking. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I think we have succeeded. For now, obviously it looks pretty ugly. So hopefully in the next tutorials, we can add some pre-baked lighting. So the game's not rendering the lighting like this. Looks pretty bad. And also we'll add textures. And also I want to experiment with some funky shading stuff that you can do in GTA. So like if anyone knows that like shiny TV in one of the Las Venturas houses, yeah, we can apply that to this. We can apply that sort of effect to this model. And eventually maybe I also want to do like UV animation and have like a TV animation on the back or something. Let's do that. But anyway, for now, thank you for watching. Collision's so bad. Thank you for watching, and yeah, catch you later. Bye.